Going into the game. Game number 3. Jangbi versus Zero. The score is currently tied 1-1. It is anyone's series to take. It's essentially been now reduced to a best of 3. Jangbi looking a little bit concerned after that game. I mean, he basically got outplayed in a long ZVP. You know, it was completely standard openings. There was no crazy early lane aggression or anything like that. There's a straight up Forge Fast Expand versus a 12 hatch. Cross map positions on a 4-player map. Like, it doesn't get more standard than that. I mean, Zero did go for some early Hydro aggression, but it was in the mid game, okay? It wasn't like an early Hydro bust. It was mid game Hydro aggression, and that's completely fine. So, Zero looks like a lot calmer than after the first game. I think first game definitely shook him up a bit, but now he's like, oh, okay, I can actually take this guy. Nice. So he's serious moding it up. He's no longer rocking back and forth in his chair like he was just now. His chair's in a good position. And hopefully we are going into the game to see who is going to move on to the finals of the last ever Brood War OSL. Sponsored by Tving, which is some random Korean company that I don't know. And here we go into set number 3. See the fans cheering. I wonder if they split the fans into like Jangbi fans and Zero fans like they do for the Pro League teams in the finals. You have like an SKT side and a KT side or whatever. Come on, let's see the game. Yes! Into the game. Set 3. Jangbi spawning as the white Protoss at the bottom right. Ooh, I just talked over the fighting cheers. There's Jangbi. Definitely looks a little bit shaken from the last game, but he should be fine. He has the experience of a champion. Anyway, Zero will be the Blue Zerg in the bottom left here on Jade. Hopefully that isn't too difficult to see, given we have the Twilight tile set of for this map. It looks like they're not going to do the allied colors. Anyway, the Overlord is going to scout in the correct direction first for Zero. Oh yeah, nice Zero picture. He didn't do the hexagon Zero thing though. He didn't follow that how to draw Zero thread, which is a little bit disappointing. I really want to see somebody just hold up a sign with like, you know, hexagon Zero face. Be awesome. Look at that. Standing room only. Not even standing room left. Like all the standing room is full up there. I bet there's like people outside just watching from the screen. They have like a screen right outside the studio where you can just watch it if it's too crowded. Anyway, Jangbi has gone for a 1-base build yet again here. Gateway on the low ground. This makes me a little bit nervous. This map is not quite as good as Ground Zero was for this kind of style. You know, it's a reverse ramp, so it's a little, it makes you a little bit more vulnerable to the early aggression. And actually, now that I think about it, I can actually kind of, I feel like Jangbi might be preparing these kinds of builds on all the maps except on Electric Circuit. Oh wow, it's a 2-gate. And that is a very fast gate. That was like a 10-11 gate. Or, no, I think it was a 10-12 gate. No, it was a 10-12 gate. But, yeah, I was going to say, on Electric Circuit, I don't think you can even do, like, a 1-base build anyway, because there's no ramp at all. So it'd be, like, ultra risky to try that. I mean, I guess you can, like, 2-gate at your natural, but it seems kind of weird. But instead he's gone for a 10-12 gate, and Zero's going to scout this straight away. Now, he has also gone for pull first. I believe that is an overpull. I'm not 100% sure. Jangbi is going to scout top right with his first probe. Doesn't see anything there. Now, he sees the overlord coming in, so he knows that Zero is bottom left. He's going to send his probe over. What's going to have to happen here, if he sees those lings with his probe, he's going to have to pull like 2 probes to block his ramp with the first Zealot if he doesn't want the Zerglings to run into his base. If the Zerglings get into his main, it's going to be a nightmare for him because the Zealot's obviously slow. And actually, no, never mind, he's actually going to just attack with that Zealot. I don't think it's a good idea. Oh, yeah, oh, well, maybe. I mean, he's just going to go for it. One Zealot, though, can easily get surrounded by lings, and look at the Zero just going to counterattack. The thing is, the Zergling's obviously much faster than the Zealots when both are unupgraded, and obviously if you get ling speed, then the Zerglings are even faster. So with good micro and good multitasking, Zero can keep these 2 lings alive in the Protoss base essentially forever. And the thing is, so Jangbi, like, if he pulls his zealots back, you know, they're never going to catch the links, and if he attacks with them, then Zero will just start harassing the mineral line and picking off probes. So it's kind of just like, you know, caught between a rock and a hard place. It's just going to be super annoying for Jangbi to deal with. Even if the Zerglings don't get too many probe kills, they're at least denying, or rather providing Zero with vision and letting him know exactly what the Protoss is doing, and just, you know, providing the threat, forcing Jangbi to constantly look back at his probes and make sure he doesn't get any sniped. And it looks like some more Zerglings coming out here, but they're going to get warded away by these zealots. And it looks like the 2-gate has been completely shut down here. Jangbi just not even going to go on the offensive, just going to play purely defensively and take an expansion here. 2-gate into expand. This is like super old school. This is like before Bisu showed everybody how to PvZ. This is what Protosses were doing. They were just like 2-gating, you know, trying to expand or doing some kind of weird one-base all-ins, or those were dark times, man. Those were the dark ages of PvZ, where every Protoss was 2-gating. And I mean, you know, it can still work, but I feel like with, you know, in the modern metagame, it seems like a dubious strategy. I mean, although to be fair, you know, players, for example, like Noni, used to be famous for having a very strong 2-gate. I believe Day9 actually talked about this on one of his dailies or something. But Noni actually used to 2-gate. His 2-gate in PvZ was extremely strong. So yeah, it could definitely work. And well, looks like yeah, Jangbi expanding. Should get a forge soon. He's gonna need a couple of cannons, but he does still have a probe in the Zerg base actually, and that's actually quite critical because he sees the lair going up, so he knows Zero's not just gonna do like a speeding all in or something, which is actually very crucial. And I wonder if he might even skip a forge. And actually, look at this. 2 creep colonies at the natural there. Zero, he must have made those preemptively after seeing the 2-gate and not being sure whether Jangbi would play aggressively or defensively. And that's actually a huge investment so early in the game. Even though he didn't make those into sunken colonies, so he saved a few minerals there. Just losing those 2 drones and making the creep colonies, which are 75 minerals apiece, is definitely not what he wants to be doing. I mean, if you look at his drone saturation right now, it's very, very low. He is also getting a Hydra Den. Is this actually going to be lurkers? Oh man, I think Zero is going to go for a lurker link bust on the natural of Jangbi here, and this could be quite difficult for Jangbi to hold off if he doesn't have enough cannons, if he doesn't see it coming. But he does have a probe going back to the main base. If he sees the Hydra Den, that is going to be so crucial. Can he see the Hydra Den? The drone is not going to block it. He is going to see the lair finished. He is going to see the Hydra Den, and now Jangbi knows exactly what is going on. Oh man, that is so bad for Zero. If Jangbi had not scouted that with his probe, I think Zero definitely would have had a good shot of breaking him. But now that Jangbi's seen it, he's going to be sure to make plenty of cannons. He's going to have his units in good positions to defend. And this is quite bad for Zero, because now it's 2 base against 2 base. So now Zero needs to make something happen. Interestingly, okay, so here's what the, I guess, like the style of the 2-gate opening into like mid-game PvZ is. So the 2-gate opening provides you a little bit more flexibility in the early game compared to Forge Fast Expand. Obviously you have more zealots out. If the Zerg goes for like a 12 patch, you can punish him for it, or you just play defensively as Jangbi has. But the issue with this is your tech is very, very slow relative to where Forge Fast Expand would be, so you're very vulnerable to whatever tech the Zerg decides to go. If he goes for, whether he goes for mutas or for lurkers, it's generally going to be on 2 base, and if he rushes for that tech, you don't have your own tech to answer with, so you just have to like cannon up and, you know, hope that he can't overwhelm you until you get your own tech up. Looks like Hydras are being made for Zero, but he does, I believe, have a drone at that 9 o'clock base. Gonna think about taking a third. Looks like, wait a minute, is that speed? That's interesting. Is he gonna drop? Is he gonna drop? Oh my god, because the drops on this map are actually extremely effective. You know, there is basically like a lot of area around the main base, which is on low ground, by the way, that you can just drop over. Like, there are just very thin cliffs that the Overlord can easily drop over, even with the Corsair there. That would be very, very scary. It could just be normal Overlord speed to help defend or help keep them alive against Corsairs and, you know, scout for DTs and whatnot, but I don't know. I feel like this could be just a drop here. And look at this, Jangbi's putting all of his defenses at the front. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, is it? Does he have drop? Is he gonna drop something? He's sending in one Overlord to see what's going on first. And look at this, Jangbi actually suspects something. He's building one cannon there in an anti-drop location. That looks like a very random location. It's not like an it's not protecting his mineral line, but it is defending against the most likely location that a drop would go in. And look at this, Jangbi, he knows something suspicious is going on right now. He's bringing his zealots back, he's building another cannon, but he's not sure. You see, he's not sure whether he should bring his zealots back, because if he brings too many zealots back, to defend against a drop, and Zero just attacks the front, he could just lose the front anyway. So he has to kind of defend both areas, and this is exactly the kind of thing I was talking about, where, you know, because your tech is delayed and you're not exactly sure what the Zerg is doing, because, you know, you don't have that nice early Corsair scout that a Forge Fast Expand provides, you have to really kind of defend against all kinds of attacks and kind of be a little bit inefficient in that regard, instead of just, you know, looking with the Corsair being like, okay, Zerg is doing this, you know, doing mutas, and then I'll just build cannons in the middle line, or he's going, you know, mass Hydras and I don't need those cannons. Right now, Jangbi is kind of stuck in his base. He's got so many zealots. I hope he's going to have leg speed soon, at least. But look at this. Alright, he's got the robo at the front, at least. And is Zero just faking this? Is Zero actually just faking these drops? Because Jangbi got faked out, right? And I got faked out. And whoa! Alright, looks like Zero just killed a bunch of his own Zerglings in order to make supply room for whoa! What the hell? This is the Hydra dropping the natural? That's a little bit weird. But there's the big load up. Jangbi needs to move back into his main right now. He needs to go back. The speed is finished for the Zealots. He's moving back. All the cannons are finished at the front. Jangbi, I think he heard the load up or something, because moving back perfectly in time. The Zealots will camp under the Overlords before they can drop. Yes, very well deflected by Jangbi. And the thing is, Zero is somewhat all in on this attack because Zero has not expanded. Zero is still on just 2 bases. And look at this. You can see it on his face. He knows he's in big trouble. He has to drop. He's committed to this drop, but he cannot drop on top of these Zealots. He will get massacred if he drops onto these Zealots, even though he has Lurkers. There's already an Observer following everything. He's going to get a good position, though. He's going to drop on the mineral line. The Zealots were blocked behind the minerals. Oh my god, great drop. A storm goes down, but there's a Lurker. He storms his own mineral line. The Zealots are closing with the Hydras. Is it enough? It doesn't look like it's enough, though, for 0-0, finding the perfect angle to go in and drop on the base, but it's not enough. He snipes the Observer, but there's no Lurkers left. No, there's actually another Observer as well. And Jangbi has held off the attack. Zero is in a lot of trouble right now, still on 2 base against a 2 base Protoss. I'm sure his drone saturation is not good either, but look at this! He had two Overlords full of Hydralisks left, and he's dropped in this little nook here, so the Zealots can't even get a good surface area, and still pumping mass Hydras. As you can see, not a good saturation at all. And building a Lurker there on the damaged Hydra, not only to block it, but also just to save the damaged Hydralisk right there. Look at this, Zero being as cost efficient as he possibly can. He knows this attack has to work. He's still going to keep going for it. Jangbi looks like he's actually lost so many probes here. Look at this, Jangbi's probe count is looking almost worse than Zero's drone count here. And Zero actually with a big supply lead now, 65 supply to 52 supply of Jangbi. I actually don't know who's ahead right now. Even though Jangbi held off the attack, he lost so many probes in that drop. And now there's another huge drop going into the main base. Jangbi, I don't know if he has enough to hold this off. I think Jangbi could be in huge trouble here. He does a storm, but a great split by Zero. Not so great on the second storm, but it doesn't matter. There's no units left in the Protoss space. He's bringing in some Zealots, but there's Lurkers there. The Lurkers are going to massacre those Zealots. It's so close now. It's down to the wire, but I think Zero has taken the 3rd game here. And GG! Jangbi! GG's out. He is down 1-2. Zero is on the verge of going through to the finals. He needs just one more game. He is 1 game away from the finals of the last Brood War OSL. Looks like he's going to go out, take a break, get some more iced tea, whatever that is he is drinking. And Jangbi is in big trouble here. But he can still win it. He needs to win 2 games in a row now. I'm really hoping for a Game 5. I want an epic 5-game series here. The games so far have definitely been awesome. But Jangbi looks like he's not going to take a break. Just going to sit there. I don't actually know if they're allowed to look at the replays. But he might be checking for that. But you know what? I mean, a 2-gate opening, a 10-12-gate opening is very dubious to be using. I mean, I know he wants to mix it up a little bit. You know, he's used 3 different strategies so far in all 3 games. You know, 2-gate Dark Templar first, or basically like, you know, Dark Templar Rush in the first game, Forge Fast Expand second game,